He was buried in an avalanche of online public shame, but the lawyers couldn't hold him anymore. While the legal system grinds, all the things upon his mind must be spoken of like did he love the ending of Infinity War.
Oh, and we're live, and we're here with FanDUMB. Oh my God, that's the first time I've done all three of those, right? And I did it! Yes! Oh my God, I'm finally getting the hang of this thing. Welcome to the live show. This is FanDUMB, where we talk about dumb things across fandom. And I got some of my best. Oh no, I didn't do it right. There we go. Some of my best, friends here. Adon, Damien's back.
What's up, everybody?
Let me turn your mics on. I was getting so cocky that I didn't do it. Say that again. Welcome.
What's up, everybody?
There we go.
I could have really messed with it and just mouthed it.
And really screwed me. So I got three angles today. We got no guests today, but so I got. Oh, look at this cool angle I just made. Ooh. But don't look at the TV. Look at me, and then it looks like we're talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it looks like one seamless set. And then I can go to the wide shot. Woo! And I can see everything. I don't know why the chat's not showing up. The chat's supposed to be here. I put the chat box there. But hopefully it'll show up at some point. Anyway, welcome to the show. Guys, this is Wednesday night, 9 p.m. We're going to talk a bunch of nerd stuff. It always gets a little weird. I got a little booze today. Woo, woo, woo. Nice. Cheers to everybody here. Let's go to that cool shot. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's crazy how that does that. The first topic at hand, and you guys can change the topic anytime you want by super chatting your suggestions down below or just get in the conversation. Devin, welcome, Devin and Bunda. You guys are my new community moderators because last week, Adon, it got a little strange.
It was strange and dark in some areas. Profitable.
I think some of those people didn't actually. Some of those people charged back and didn't actually charge the money, so I don't even think it came through.
Dirty.
Sneaky little trick. But anyway, the most dark thing for me was I didn't know that there were that many versions of the N-word that you could spell out with letters and numbers.
Yeah. There was a lot of...
Jesus.
It was pretty bad.
So I went through and I've blocked them all. So now I'm like, they were being clever with how to sneak it in. So I was like, thank you, because now I know how to hide it all. But just in case something slips through, I got 2 comment moderators. They're in there with little wrenches. They're going to keep things going. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
They're the true fans. That way, if one of you isn't here, hopefully one of you is. You guys usually watch every night, so I appreciate it. I love you both. So thank you both. First of all, to one of my moderators, I got to do a special thing before the show gets up too intense. It's Devin Coulson's birthday this weekend. What? So I have to sing my number one fan. He's been Screen Junkie's number one fan since the beginning. If you ever watched Screen Junkies, we showed up to his house in Texas to surprise him. We got Agent Coulson to give him a nice message. One of my favorite shows we ever did, and he loved it. So Devin, I love you. So anyway, happy birthday to you. Don't sing it because then we have to buy it. Happy birthday, dear Devin. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Devin. And it's royalty free now? I thought it became...
Is it?
Yeah, I think it became public domain.
Still
Then
not
we
worth
go Spanish.
Still not worth the risk.
No.
But everybody go wish Devin happy birthday in the comments and on Twitter, all that stuff. But anyway, thank you, Devin. Thank you, Bunda. I love it. You guys are awesome. All right, so let's get to the topic of our first main thing. And guys, obviously chime in if you have any thoughts. But first up, oh man, this one's just annoying. This one just annoys me. I don't know why it annoys me. Because, look, for those who followed me on, since I mentioned Screen Junkies, for those people who followed me on Screen Junkies, I have gone on record defending Jurassic World. I have the toy right there. I have the Jurassic. You can see it. There it is. Here's Owen. Does anyone remember her name? Would you have remembered that his name was Owen? Do you remember her name?
Blue?
Bryce Dallas Howard. No,
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard's name.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Raptor.
No, the blue is the only one I probably remember. What's Bryce Dallas Howard's character name?
I called her High Heels.
Somebody call it out in the comments quickly without cheating. My point is, these movies aren't very good. You don't remember the characters, but you do remember Ian Malcolm.
Yeah.
You remember, and I have those too. I have the whole, in fact, I'm bringing it down so we can celebrate. But I have, Ellie Sattler and Sam Neill's, what did I just call his name? I just forgot already.
Ian.
Dr. Alan Grant. Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm. I mean, come on. These characters we love.
Oh, we're missing Ian.
Ian I have in the bag somewhere. Clever girl. But I have Ian too. But they had the classic set, and I loved it because this is my size. I love when they make them Star Wars 4-inch size. and they did it with the Avengers and they stopped. Anyway, I go on a nerd tangent of toys. But they're bringing the classic cast into the movie. Jurassic World 3 has announced that they're bringing in the original stars of Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum. And pretty positive reactions online is what's crazy about all this. Everybody, and I saw on Twitter, everybody's reacting like, oh my God, this is going to be so great. They're reprising their original roles and yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, why are we so excited? This franchise, I like Jurassic World only in that I thought, okay, finally a sequel that sort of took up the premise of an amusement park in action.
Yeah.
With dinosaurs wreaking havoc. Finally, like that's what I've wanted. And I was like, that makes sense. Not like, let's go back to an abandoned park again and see a bunch of, like, we've seen that 100 million times. Now it was like park in action and there's nostalgia for a purpose. It actually worked. Is it stupid and silly like a science fiction movie? Yes. Sci-fi movie? Absolutely. But I still, when the T-Rex jumps on that, on the raptor jumps on the T-Rex and there was some fun stuff in that movie, I still think. But forgettable characters and just overall forgettable movie, but overall like a pretty solid extreme sequel. But then Fallen Kingdom came out and I was just like, they volcanoed the island in the first act. And then they teased Ian Malcolm and he's not even in the friggin' movie. He does like a scene in a courtroom and it was a complete
cameo.
tease. And then the movie turns into this weird horror movie that I liked better, but still felt out of place for like Jurassic World 2. And then they left all the dinosaurs loose, and now apparently they're out in the world, and they did cloning of humans. And now Jurassic World 3 is coming, and they've announced, well, we're bringing the whole gang back. They're all there. And I see why people are like excited because of nostalgic reasons. But we've had 5 movies now where they've all come back in one form or the other, and they've always disappointed. So I turn to you, panel, and you at home, commenters. Let's talk about this. Can this work? Can this finally bring us back into the Jurassic World fold to get excited for a project? What do you think, guys?
Well, my initially right out the gate, I'm glad to see it, and nostalgia will always get me probably in the seat, but I don't think that the story is going in a direction that's going to actually use these 3 characters in a manner that's significant enough. I mean, we're talking about, we only have 100 dinosaurs that are released into the world.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it for the U.S. government to really round these guys up? I mean, this movie could end in 30 minutes.
But nature finds a way.
Nature finds a way, but the U.S. government finds, big guns and helicopters and stuff. So it's really not that hard to round these things up. My point is that if in Fallen Kingdom, first of all, Fallen Kingdom almost started off as Fallen Lawsuit because they built an island. They built a Disney theme park on an island that was about to blow up. So let's just forget the fact that they didn't get sued for that already. That there wasn't already a massive lawsuit for that. The other thing is, we're talking about when that horror part that you talked about. I like that horror part because when they started talking about human cloning, I was wondering what other cloning things had they not done, and what other things had they could have gotten into. And there was actually, that's the intriguing part. And when you look at the original subject matter, you're like, hey, yeah, there's some cloning and there's some dark stuff that could happen in the military. But I don't think that, and I use this term very broadly, I don't think that they're going to go dark enough with it to use the acting capabilities of these people. I think they're going to Disneyfy it some more. We're not going to get the cloning and the turmoils and the really nature found a way. It's not going to get dark enough for these guys to just do cameos. We're going to have popcorn. We're going to clap when they show up on screen, and then it's going to be over. And I'm sorry, I don't see why this is going to be. I don't see how this is going to translate into a good film.
Well, you said it right there. That's one of my fears about it because they're saying they're bringing back the original cast for this, and for me, it's probably going to be a cash grab where it's more of a cameos. That they're not really going to be strong into the. Ooh.
Well, they did say it's substantial roles, so they're not saying leading roles, but they're saying substantial roles. So
more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, not he made it clear they're not cameos.
Okay.
So does that? I don't know. Just that we do know that.
I mean, that's better than the last one where it was just pretty much cameo for Jeff Goldblum. But
But let's not forget, Ian Malcolm was in part 2, Lost World.
Right.
Yeah.
Came back and wasn't as good.
No.
No, it wasn't.
And then Alan Grant came back in part 3, and it wasn't as good. And then Ellie saved them on the cell phone at the end and made a cameo, but wasn't in the movie for some reason. So they've done this before is all I'm getting at. And then they brought Ian back again in 2, and you're like, the only one that sort of worked to me was Jurassic World. I guess, of all the Jurassic Park sequels, including Fallen Kingdom and World, what's the best one? Let's be honest.
Honestly, I'd say World is the best sequel. If you'd have given me Jurassic Park and it failed, and then you went to Jurassic World,
That makes sense.
That's a 1 and 2 right there.
Because if you skip like 2 and 3 and you
yeah,
go right to
skip
Jurassic
all the
World,
hey, we went back and blah 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 blah.
It makes sense.
Second sight, screw all that. You go from hey, it failed, it's cool. So we got some new investors. We went back in there. Now we got the theme park open. If you went Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, that's actually your 1 and 2. My thing is, I don't think I'm not trying to not have faith in the director. Honestly, if I was directing this franchise, I'd want the original cast back because who wouldn't want to work with these guys?
You want to work with them.
But do you really honestly think that you're going to have, like, is the storyline from what you've seen from Jurassic World to Fallen Kingdom, is the storyline leading in a direction that's going to say, hey, this third one, that's the one that's going to be the end cap. That's going to be
It would work if they did the third one like Island of Dr. Moreau kind of style. Like it's like they really play on that human genetic cloning and the crossbreeding, and they really go weird.
So now that you mentioned that going weird, one of the things that a lot of people knock it. But remember Alien 4? Resurrection?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I do.
All right, fine. A lot of people knock it. I understand that. But
I actually enjoyed a lot of it.
There's some things about it. Yeah. When Ripley's like, how'd you beat them? And she's like, I died. I like that part. But the point is that there was a real genuine moment there where she goes into the lab and she sees all the failed versions of herself. And the failed version of herself says, kill me. Like, I want to see that in Jurassic Park. Yeah. I want to see that kind of like sci-fi, like, no, look, this is not just bad. How many dinosaurs, are like failed experiments with the arm coming out? You clone, you don't know exactly how that thing. What about the arm coming out of the side of the head? That's a dinosaur. You
want to see like that really dark side where they have failed, especially when they're crossbreeding and stuff like that. You want to see
Dr.
where
Moreau.
that is like,
yeah. So if you're gonna go there, go there. And they kind of hinted at it with the whole human cloning for the little girl, but I don't see them taking it to that point. You know what I mean? I don't see that being.
They want the kids for that cash grab, but like that's where why they're not going to go there. I'd be impressed if they did.
I would be more impressed if they did too. I mean, I don't know. What kind of film would you want to see where these three coming back makes sense to you, Andy?
Well, I was going to say, if I recall correctly, there was a version. That's right. There was a version that they were going to do with these human dinosaur hybrids.
That looks dope.
And this was originally Fallen Kingdom? I think one of the they were originally going to do a version like that, which to me, I'm sorry, I want to see them go weird and do something different, right? I don't want to see the same old crap. So
that's what we're saying. We want to see it get weird.
That is a horror movie right there. And because they're doing DNA splicing, it's something completely different we haven't seen before. It's an opportunity to make the dinosaurs be heroes, to go against these like crazy people. But I could also imagine Spielberg and other people like, whoa, this is way too creepy. But dude, this is sick. I would have loved this movie. Like, come on.
You know what? Then oh no, not that. But you know what?
That's a harsh.
But then that would bring in part 2. When the raptor looks at him and goes, Alan, then his dream would have come true. But how crazy would that be if like a dinosaur just like finally spoke? Remember that powerful moment in Planet of the Apes when Caesar first spoke and he said no, like that gave me chills. When Caesar first spoke.
How bad could it be though? Like they could end up looking like Goombas from Super Mario Brothers.
The movie, right? Not even the good ones.
It'd be like the good Goombas. It'd be like the ILM good Goombas.
Look at this the Triceratops one. I mean, that is just so cool.
That looks out like fantasy fiction. Like people would love to see that.
Ah man,
I would go for that.
That's like a Hulk dinosaur.
You show me that in the trailer. One dinosaur walking upright, and it's supposed to be on 4 legs.
And it makes me think of Species, which I friggin' love that movie. Natasha Henstridge. Anybody else remember Species? That was a great movie. They did another good one with what's the one
Splice.
they made? Yes, Splice with Brody.
Well, that was going down
creepy.
A dark, weird.
Yeah,
it went real weird. I highly encourage you.
Thank you.
I watched that movie.
You missed me, didn't you? You missed me. I could pull that one out, huh?
But So and you asked me like, this is where I want to see this. I didn't when I was a kid. I've gotten this fight with other people. When I was a kid, I enjoyed the Lost World's ending. Like when the dinosaur went loose in San Diego, like that's what I wanted as a kid. Like, oh yeah, hell's yeah, T-Rex running around the city.
Yeah.
And other people thought that was a cheap like waste of time, and I was like, no, why wasn't the whole movie at the end of, like in San Diego running around? So this idea of them loose and then clearly bringing in the guys back to sort of to do it of Ellie and all these people. This stuff. makes sense. Like, you'd bring these experts in to track down the dinosaurs. Like, I understand how they're going to fit them in. There's clearly opportunities for them to do it. But I don't know. I feel like we've seen it already so many freaking times of them going to court. Now, granted, they destroyed the park. The island's dead. They got a lot of dinosaurs died, but obviously BD Wong is still in play and can have a lot of the characters like come back. And so I don't know, but what do I want to see? I want to see those dinosaur hybrids for sure, or I want to see a version where there is like a weird part of me where I do want to see Chris Pratt on a T-Rex or a Triceratops with a gun and doing Dino Cops.
I mean, that
exactly.
That's cool. I'm sorry. The scientist's name you just mentioned, I'm forgetting.
BD Wong.
BD Wong. He totally underused. I mean, he was kind of prepping himself to be like a really pretty badass villain in the second versions of these. Totally underused. I hope that they use him because you know what? It's his philosophy against Dr. Ian's philosophy. It's nature will find its way. It's chaos theory and versus him trying to control nature. Like, really, that's the real ultimate battle of these two minds.
Yes.
And that's really what it should be. He is the modern Dr.
Kind
Monroe.
of like it's like a dark version of nature versus nurture.
Yes.
Like nature's like it's gonna find a way versus nurture is like you create that way.
Right. I am the god of my own world. And I think that if they delved into that theme a little bit deeper, yeah, you can get Chris Pratt on the back of a dinosaur helping round up other dinosaurs and control that. But only if the other dinosaurs are just so evil because they're thinking human craziness. Like, honestly, otherwise they're going to U.S. government's just going to quarantine the area. And they're going to be like, yeah, sure, anything that's on two legs and reptilian, shoot it. They're not going to just let them run wild. There's going to be PETA and stuff like that. But that part of the film could end fairly quickly. Like, it makes sense as the ending. Like, if they'd given the film, I know the film they didn't need it, but if they'd given the film like another 10 more minutes of chaos and craziness, that'd have been cool. But I don't see that being the whole film.
What they need to do is clone Samuel L. Jackson's character from the first movie, bring him in, and as a crossbred dinosaur, and then just have him go full Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson as a dinosaur is brilliant. What?
Well, even though they're not super chatting, I'm going to read your comments, but come on, throw $1 down, guys. Jeez, it's entertaining you. Genshi Fox, thank you, John. How about a Dino Riders movie? Do we like the idea? He's hit that a bunch of times. Dino Riders the movie. Do we care about Dino Riders the movie?
I know you do.
I do it.
I don't remember the cartoons much, but I don't mind seeing them.
That's what I remember.
They did like a quick cameo in Jurassic Park 2 where they kind of like had a bunch of Asian people running down the street looking back at the T-Rex, like a Godzilla little reference. So if they did a Dino Riders reference, that might be cool.
Yeah. Ian, the controversy, come on. You don't have to pay me you shouldn't do it. You come over here all the time. But controversy, thank you for the drop. What up, Light Brights? We'll see you next week, sir. And go subscribe to Controversy, always. Sam Jackson alive with one arm. I'd be down for that. Yeah. Ian, good call.
He was alive the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. Or Wayne Knight. I want him to be back, like all mangled, like with the shaving cream can. But I want to read another thing. King of Scotland made a good comment. That was what I was originally going to read. The first Jurassic Park worked because it was a horror film. A small group of people stuck with no weapons in the real world. Dinosaurs wouldn't be a threat to us. We could wipe them out easily. The first part's super right on. And Spielberg, it's just so tense and well done. And Spielberg's direction in that movie is just. I don't feel like he's as good anymore as he used to be in those like Jaws, Jurassic Park days. I mean, granted, Lincoln and all these things, it feels like he's just sort of like, okay, go. And then let's do long shots. But Jurassic Park, my God, what a brilliant. Everything pays off. Everything pays off. It's one of the reasons I like Die Hard so much as an action movie. Everything pays off in the script's just so tight. And Jurassic Park is one of those other ones where it's like so spot on of all the things lead to something. So yes, totally good call calling it a horror movie. But an interesting thought: in the real world, dinosaurs wouldn't be a threat. We could wipe them out. Interesting. I mean, that's kind of true, right? I mean, if with guns and machines, you could probably just take them down really fast. Fair. Do you think we'll see dinosaurs getting gunned down in this new movie? It's kind of depressing, but
yeah, there could be a scene like that.
100%. I mean, I don't think in the film will they show that? Maybe not. I mean, they'll use tranquilizers. Just because it is a PG film and they're trying to, we love the dinosaurs. But honestly, if this was a real life threat and dinosaurs were just, I'm sorry, there's a man-eating monster right now, right here in Florida, Tampa, Florida. There's the guy, and I just saw him at the gas station. He had like 3 alligators in the back of his truck.
It's true.
Because he's like,
gators can climb too.
And they can climb. He's like, nah, man, They were in someone's lawn, so we had to go and get them, and they're gonna end up as gator bites on some dish somewhere. It happens, they can't relocate them, and that's just a gator. If a bear goes and bites someone, they're gonna hunt. It's like 16 guys going out there to hunt the bear. They don't want to hurt the bears if they're not doing anything. But one bear steps out of line and he's screwed.
Yep.
So 100 dinosaurs just got released in a populated area. Oh my God, the military is mobilizing and they're down. I'm sorry. That's how it would be.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They're supposed to be like super smart on dinosaurs. They're like they learn, they advance and whatnot. Got to be one of them that has to be like, that's a firearm. like one of them's gotta be like, I can pick this up and like use my claw as a trigger. And someone's gonna be the clever girl.
Clever. Yeah, well, and to correct you, Florida Gators crawl. That's what they did. I didn't see that horror movie. I really want to see that movie.
Oh, like no, well, like you saw the movie
crawl. I didn't see it yet. I want to.
It did great in the box office.
Yeah, but it looked. That's one I want to see in theaters. I didn't go.
I can tell you don't need to see the movie. The gators are scary as they are. Like they move super fast, faster than you realize on land. And I have seen them climb fences and like literally been in garages and underneath cars. Yeah. So they get wherever they need to go.
Yeah, as Devin says, Florida people are crazy. Ugh, Florida. What WTF? Yeah, Florida has its pros, but it has its cons.
We live with dinosaurs. We live with dinosaurs.
Literally
here. It is like this weird thing because I grew up in like suburban Pennsylvania and we had woods. And like as a kid, I'd go back, find a friend's house, and we'd run through the woods and like explore and build stick forts.
Jump in a lake.
You can't do it here. It makes me so sad. I got like a woods behind me and I can't. My kids like can't go in there because I'm like, dude, stay away between the alligators and snakes.
The
you can't go into any of the wilderness.
Widows.
It's so depressing. Hold on. Sorry, I'm seeing my internet is slowing down. No data.
I'm off the Wi-Fi. So
Excellent. There we
I'm
go.
on the Wi-Fi, but I don't
should
use
come
it
back.
for anything else.
It says excellent condition.
Guys, let us
Let's
know
see
if we're
here.
frozen.
Make sure if we froze. Sorry. Sometimes it happens, and it should still be going.
There we go.
And excellent
kicked back in.
condition. There we go. All right. Sorry for that little delay. I think someone just sent a super chat. I just scared it. Perfect. Thank you, Michael Bryce. Made me sad to see the dinosaur die in the flames in last one. Please no more killing those sweet beasts. I agree. It was a weird Fallen Kingdom's ending of like, oh, we got to see the island to be destroyed. I don't understand the need for that. It was a weird thing. And yeah, watching them all like die, be extinct again, just felt like exploitative in a weird way and unnecessary.
So remind me, like, because I totally forgot about these last two. Wasn't there 2 islands? Mm-hmm. So, like, there's still
that
one
was
island.
Lost World. There was another. They were making another island.
Yeah, so there's still one island that still exists, isn't there?
In theory, yes.
Okay, so
Plus,
there we go.
what they alluded to in the first one, which I liked, was that the what's it called? What's giant? What's the group? The people who made the DNA splicing. There's a company name. They have a term. What's the company name?
Oh,
the one that
Dynotech
Dr. Wu.
or whatever. Dr. Wu's company. Anyway,
InGen?
InGen, thank you. InGen wasn't the only ones doing it. There were some other like copycats and other black market people selling dinosaur eggs and blood. So they did that as a throwaway line. And so I think that was clever because now there can be clearly some other competing island that's been breeding them for other things. But that's what I want. I didn't see the short yet, but the short was apparently cool because it was dinosaurs in the real world in a sort of little horror short setting. Mm-hmm. The new Jurassic World short film they made. But this idea of a world with dinosaurs, there's a lot of cool shit you could do. So I don't hate it, this idea, but I think Fallen Kingdom was sort of a weird pause, and then this one really needs to step up. So I wasn't excited, but then like that nostalgia does get me excited. And they better bring the 3 of them together in a scene. Like I want the reunion. I don't want to do some nonsense where they're all in like Force Awakens style in different places all at the same time. No, we got to have that awkward meeting. We're like, here we are again. We're really doing this. Oh God, you're here. Whatever that moment is, like I am excited for that sort of quick nostalgic moment, but it doesn't mean the movie's gonna be any good.
No, it's if they push the PG-13 and do the horror, because I've seen some really good horror PG-13s, and they push that, at least go there with those 3. I think they would. They're great actors. I mean, they can really bring something to it, and them setting their wisdom onto the newbies and be like, guys, look, we've done this. Doesn't work.
That brings up a fun point for me. Like I'm trying to think of like a good horror film that involved dinosaurs, and the only thing other than Jurassic Park was Carnivore. Like, can anybody think of like, because when Jurassic Park, I know when something's popular, there's always those bad spoof movies that they do that or try to simulate it for cheap.
Right.
They made did that Whoopi Goldberg one, T-Rex and the cop, and she was a cop. What was that?
That's a horror
Oh
film.
my god. That sounds like a horror.
No, there is one. Oh, as you
Horrible.
guys talk, I'm gonna go find it. But there is like
Sounds like a
Tammy and the
horrible
T-Rex.
film.
Is the other
Yeah,
one.
it was like he was a hybrid. It was like dinosaurs in the future or something like that.
Here we go. Let's enjoy this together.
It was
Everything in Tammy's life is
Tammy
just
the T-Rex.
great.
Oh yeah.
But when you're young
There you go.
and in love, life
Yeah.
can get
Is that
very
Paul Walker?
complicated,
Yeah.
Paul Walker.
especially
And
when
Denise
it
Richards?
involves
Wait, this
an
was Whoopi
insanely
Goldberg?
jealous creep.
That's my lady, all right?
Go, Billy, go! Stop!
Late night
They
phone
had
calls,
belly
I want you
ribs.
to come over.
Oh my
making around
god.
in your own house,
Did you lock the door?
Don't worry.
your boyfriend
that's
getting
something we
dumped in a wild animal park,
Oh my God! Why aren't we watching this movie
and a
tonight?
crazy doctor
Is
Well, that's it.
who turns out to be a mad scientist.
What?
Oh, no.
Break a few eggs, right?
Of course. Is that
with an
Bernie from Weekend at
insane
Bernie's?
invention that only
this is
needs
not
a
the Whoopi
brain.
is Whoopi? No.
So they make an animatronic dinosaur.
This Tyrannosaurus
Is Whoopi
Rex
Goldberg the
just
voice of the
wants to
dinosaur?
be a
No, this is
party
not the one
animal.
that you think
It's
about.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. No, it's-
Something totally different.
It's literally a fake dinosaur that Denise Richards, I think,
Even when you tell the
gets
truth,
sucked into.
nobody believes it anymore.
It was a dinosaur.
What? It's more than a machine with a brain. I mean, it's a machine with feelings. We're on the brink
That's her boyfriend.
of something special.
Oh, that's right. It's Paul Walker inside a dinosaur. It can't even get weirder.
Oh my
Just even weirder knowing that he's no longer with us. That Paul Walker is inside that dinosaur.
Byron, I am not going crazy. This
And
is
then
just
the
a little
cliche
hard
black
to
guy.
explain.
We found the dinosaur, Sheriff. It's in a truck being driven by your by your son.
Oh my God! Could there be the more stereotypical
Yeah.
black friend?
A couple of folks back in the hospital, they say he
Listen,
stole
we need an African American. No. He needs to be freaking American.
It's like he was really born in Jersey, but he's just
my
like
dinosaur that you are
I don't know
threatening. I
about
made him and he is mine.
What are we gonna do?
I will give you
It looks like he's taking cool right now.
that. He looks like the guy on the commercial.
What is happening?
Not if Tammy has anything to say about it.
Oh, no, that was
T-Rex.
key voiceover right there.
I remember what was it? The movie with like the tiny.
Yeah.
I wanna do a
tiny
film with the
dinosaurs?
voiceover.
Yeah, Terry Kaiser. That's Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's as Dr. Wachenstein, and Ellen Dubin as Helga. They got top billing, also starring Denise Richards and Paul Walker. They didn't even realize. I'm sure Paul Walker tried to forget this, but we should, if we're going to honor him, we should watch all of the films. And Tammy and T-Rex, my God, that does tell me that doesn't look brilliant. Paul Walker dies and goes into the body of an animatronic dinosaur. Like you can't, and there's a mad scientist, but
That
you
movie
can't
was
write
before
that.
his time.
Look at this. Like, why would this thing walk around
Is she
on
in
its
a 90?
own?
Is she in a 90? Did they just make out or something?
Yeah, I think there's a
I
kissing
think
scene.
there was a kissing scene with the dinosaur.
Oh my gosh.
Was there tongue?
Oh man. So anyway, you asked were there knockoffs? Of course there were. But yeah, it was what was the Whoopi Goldberg and the T-Rex movie? She
Was
did
that Theodore Rex or
Theodore Rex? That's what it was. I don't know how to spell that. There it is.
like Theo?
Oh man,
Like
we're gonna do a
Dustin.
double. Here we go. Double whammy of
Is
terrible
that from
dinosaur
the guy from?
movies.
Is that the dad from Dinos? What's that?
Dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs,
Not
yeah.
the mama. Not the mama.
Yeah,
The
oh, that was
future's
a great
toughest cop
show.
is
The
back.
future's
I-
toughest cop is Whoopi Goldberg.
And now she's getting a new partner.
Boom, boom, shaka laka laka boom. Of course that's in this.
Is Teddy.
Boom, boom, shaka laka laka
It
boom.
is the dude.
this case.
You gotta have dinosaur in this.
It's a dinosaur. New partner, Coltrane.
He's got the style.
This was like real.
Step
This is like Howard the Duck era.
Yeah.
He's a cop.
Mahalo!
You gotta make him look like a real cop.
I'm too sexy for my clothes.
Like this was Whoopi Goldberg at her peak too. Like past Sister Act, like she was on fire, and then she did this
charm.
This was the time.
because she was doing that sweet Jurassic Park.
Shut down and your glands
copying.
are taken over.
And he's got the appetite.
You cannot eat.
didn't know
These
this
90s
existed.
trailers were the inspiration for Honest Shirley. My favorite style. He's got the knee.
On
She's got
time.
this.
I'm amazing.
New Line Cinema presents
New line shelled out for this.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Can you just slide your butt?
Bones.
Yeah, that's great.
And introducing Teddy.
Oh, he-
A customer.
Oh, he took a bunch of cookies.
that's kind of cute.
It's a tale you'll
so
never
awkward.
forget.
And why is there only one dinosaur?
No, there was she was in the bar. For that.
Yeah, it was. And he had a dino
So this was
girlfriend.
like
Cinema presents
Richard Roundtree's in it too. Oh wow, this was like pre Bright. We're in a world where the cops are not just orcs; they're also dinosaurs. Man, so yes, they've made a lot of bad dinosaur movies.
This is going to be Jurassic World 4, where we've lived with the dinosaurs now. It's in the
Yes.
future.
There you go.
And see, so this is
That's
actually
what I
ahead
wanted.
of its
Well, he
time.
sort of already did that with Blue. He's like trained Blue, and now they're friends.
Yeah, but this
But
is
Blue's gonna be
this
in
is
the bar
Blue's great
popping
great
a,
great great grandchild. He's kind of blue.
It's kind of Blue. It's got a real bad neck problem. Have any of you seen these movies? Wow, this was insane. All right, I would rather watch Tammy and the T-Rex if I had to pick the two, right?
Between the two, yeah.
Yeah. If we were
I
gonna
want
do
to
a
see
watch
Denise
party.
Richards make out with an animatronic dog.
With voiced by Paul Walker. Oof. All right, let's move on to topic number 2. We hit Jurassic Park plenty there. Guys, did you know that, first of all, did you know that Hulu had taken over the Ghost Rider TV show? I didn't even know this.
No,
but
I
now
thought
they've
that came
passed, and they're not moving forward with it,
Ah.
and which is kind of a bummer. Diego, I never saw this. What's his name? Diego?
He was on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like for one of the seasons and like cameoed for another season.
Correct. They don't.
And,
Gabriel Luna. Sorry, he's the T-1000 in the new Terminator Dark Fate. But something hit me bad, and that's drinking.
It's called that.
But anyway, he showed up in as Ghost Rider in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Devin, you've watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with this. Were you excited for the show? Give me your comments down there. Devin's already said it. I'm pissed. Gabriel Luna is the best Ghost Rider. Is that true? News just dropped? No. Is that real, Kevin? If you're trolling me, I'm going to murder you. But they're talking about this, that Ghost Rider, it was going to be a... can someone else look that up to verify before I have the whole show look it up? Kevin Feige's doing a Star Wars movie? No, come on. If that's real, we're going to stop what we're doing and talking about that. Hollywood Reporter's reporting. But Kevin, if you're trolling me, I will never forgive you. So maybe you're not.
I'll trust you in that research.
But anyway, Ghost Rider was supposed to then spin off from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as its own standalone show, and now Hulu said, no, we don't really want it. Now that seems weird. That feels like Marvel probably told them, you know what, Hulu, let's not do this actually, because we got a lot of Marvel shows coming. We don't need some Ghost Rider show that we have to promote on yours too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, technically, they were doing a lot of, like you said, Disney has Hulu, so they were going to do a lot of stuff that they couldn't do under Disney Plus.
Hollywood Reporter did report that, and so did Slash Film.
Oh, so, all right, so let's take a beat. You were telling the truth. I want to see this.
Live now.
Star
Breaking
Wars
news.
shocker. Marvel's Kevin Feige developing a new movie for Disney. What? Exclusive. Kathleen Kennedy is pursuing a new era in Star Wars television. She's damn right she is. She's like, please, someone save us. Knowing what diehard fan Kevin is, it made sense for these two extraordinary producers to work on a Star Wars film together. Walt Disney Studios chairman tells Hollywood Reporter. No surprise to no one. Kevin Feige is a huge Star Wars fan. It might surprise many, however, that the Marvel president is going to be developing a Star Wars movie as she makes new plans to make waves of projects. He's making a movie? Feige has discussed a foray into Star Wars universe in late summer, meeting with Kennedy. We are excited about the projects Kathy and Lucas are working on in terms of Star Wars, but also Indiana Jones, reaching other parts. Kathy is pursuing a new era of storytelling. Kevin made sense. Diehard fan Kevin is. Some see this as a movie to prelude a larger role for Feige within Lucasfilm. Yes. And a top Disney source says Lucasfilm president remains in charge with no plans of any changes. I was just about to comment and speculate that I think Kevin Feige is going to take over for this. But one knowledgeable source says Feige has told major actor that there's a specific role he would like that person to play when and if he makes the movie. However, with Star Wars Rise of Skywalker hitting December 20th, it's understandable Disney would like to keep as much about the future of the franchise under wraps as possible. Skywalker, otherwise known as Episode 9, is meant to be the final installment in that first launched, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Under Feige's leadership, Marvel's had yes, we know. They just pump these articles with a bunch of stuff we already know. And yeah, they're just telling us what else they've done, how much the Star Wars movies have grossed, who else they've fired, trouble signs that they've already done because the Star Wars attractions at Galaxy Edge are not performing. That is true. And they really need, as I said in my last video, they really need that movie Rise of Skywalker to work, or Disney's going to feel some serious heat.
Or they
and
can cut the price down on that Disney attraction because
true, they could try to put ticket prices down, but that's not. They spent millions on that thing.
Billions.
So, wow. All right. Well, there you go. So, all right, Kevin, you were telling the truth. So interesting. Shocker. Marvel Kevin Feige. What do we think of this?
I honestly don't think I'd be surprised if anybody's going to be like, Kevin, no. I mean, like, with what he's done, I'd be more impressed. I want this to happen, and I can understand where this will be a fresh start for him, in a sense. Like, he might be, like, I'm marveled out at the moment. This will be a good way to kind of step away and get me, like, refreshed on this. And I can trust that in the sense that, like, he's managed so many different franchises into one, that giving him a larger universe that Star Wars is allows him to be able to grow that way.
So that's interesting, because you're saying that Feige may step away from Marvel because he can't. You're saying
he
that
may
he's
not
not going to
step away
captain
entirely.
both ships?
But that's a lot to captain.
Well, no, that's my point. So you're saying that in this development, so Kevin steps
He
away,
might take a break.
takes a break, gets an underling. You know what I mean? Like a someone who like, yes, this is my protege. I give him the Marvel Phase 6, 5, whatever phase. I forget what phase we're in now, because it's just
this is supposed to be my Peter Parker to my Tony Stark.
Yeah, to my Tony Stark. So he hands it off to his Peter Parker and then goes on and does Star Wars.
Exactly.
Interesting. I will say this though, I'm excited about Kevin Feige. Kathleen Kennedy is a good producer. She gets a lot of slack. She's a good producer. I think she tried to give, and Bob Iger came out and he talked about this, and he said that, that, hey man, maybe I was trying to push a little too many Star Wars out there at the same time. I think Kathleen Kennedy was handed something that was, she had a brilliant creator leading, the story. And even though some people don't like the prequels or whatever the case is, but she had a brilliant creator, and she was a brilliant producer. Because, I mean, she produced Indiana Jones. I mean, she's a brilliant producer. Now, taking on a franchise, and I think Feige might just be a better storyteller. You know what I mean? And that's why the Marvel franchise has been able to guide it. But he did the same thing with Marvel that Kathleen Kennedy was trying to do with Star Wars, where it's like each director was able to put their stank on the movie. I mean, that's why we got the Taika Waititi version of Thor Ragnarok and stuff like that, and that's why the Coen brothers, not Coen brothers, but the Russo brothers were able to do their thing. But I think he had a better plan for Marvel.
I think that's what you're looking for.
It's the plan that we need.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Kevin Feige he's not going to direct it, obviously. He's going to come up with an awesome plan. Like, here's an awesome plan.
He has I think he has a great eye for talent, for getting the goals of what he wants to achieve.
Right.
And that's where I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to have a plan, it's another thing to find the people that can execute your plan.
Right. Like, who would have thought that the Russos would have been great for Marvel? Like that wouldn't,
Yeah.
I
Or
wouldn't
Taika.
know. Or Taika, yeah.
It's like What We Do in the Dark. You know
Yeah.
what? You should be for Ragnarok.
Exactly. So I think that, this is exciting news, dude. This is actually pretty fun. And
I'm down for this because.
What do you think he could do though? What's the story?
You know what? I don't think he's gonna go for Skywalker. Because
Well, no, they're not. They're ending that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just cut that chapter. But they could easily tap into any of the characters from like the animated series that they done for the Star Wars, because those are like, and they're bringing in some of the characters, aren't they, for the last movie? Like 1 or 2 characters.
One, I mean, I'm forgetting her name right now. I'm sorry, guys.
Wasn't there like a blue general that they referenced?
Azuka, what's her name? The who was Anakin's apprentice for a while. Azuka, I think. But I think if anything, if Feige does anything, I think he could actually bring us a new hero. Like, I'd like a new hero.
That'd be great.
Well, I mean,
because Rey's going to be we're not going to see Rey for a while, so we don't have a hero in the Star Wars universe right now.
Let's break this down. The way because I'm thinking about this, and I'm just trying to I was reading some more information to read up on it, because this literally just happened. So thank you for the tip, Kevin. This is crazy, because to me, well, let's back up. Can we all agree Star Wars is in a bad state right now?
Yes.
Except for maybe Mandalorian, which I think Favreau, as a fan, has come back into this and solved this.
I'd say the films are. The animated series and the TV series might be in a good place.
Let me reset this, because I'm gonna splice this out for its own video, because this is too good to not do. So hold on one second, guys. Bear with me as you're in the live show. We're gonna do this live exclusive episode that you're all gonna chime into. Here we go. All right, we are live here, breaking news mid-show with this amazing story that I want to talk here with my live audience, but wanted to cut out separately while we're doing this live. I'm just doing it live. F it, we'll do it live. But this news of Kevin Feige, shocker, just dropped, developing a new movie for Disney. This is big. As the Hollywood Reporter and others now are reporting that Kathleen Kennedy wants to pursue a new era of storytelling and knows what a diehard fan Kevin is. Made sense for these two extraordinary producers to work on a Star Wars film together. So, look, as we were about to get in this conversation, I want to just reset so I could easily splice this out. We got to look back and remember, Star Wars is not in a good state right now because aside from Mandalorian, which I think is working because Favreau is such a big fan. And decided to find a little niche in a new area of this Western world with the bounty hunters. I think he's gonna actually find something cool in there. I have faith that looks like it's a creator who has vision, who's delivering us something. But what's problematic with Disney Star Wars as the feature length wrong, and I want to get you guys your thoughts. There's no vision, right? It's like JJ came in, and as I talked about earlier, Bob Iger CEO of Disney just made a whole book talking about how he pretty much screwed over Lucas because they bought Lucas's treatments for the next trilogy. And then Iger sort of just didn't use it and then didn't tell me he wasn't going to use it. And then Lucas was like, why'd you buy my extra treatments if you're not going to use this stuff? It is kind of a weird handle that he could have done it better. And so this idea that, they would buy this stuff and then not even use it is kind of offensive, I think. And it just shows that as much as whether people hate Lucas or knock on the prequels, the dude's a genius and a visionary, and you got to respect him. And he's just not the best director. He's a better producer, storyteller. And then when you work with someone I feel like Favreau's going to do probably well, or Phantom Menace, there was probably some stunt guy who did that scene with Darth Maul. Ray Park and other action people made that scene what it was. Someone collaborated with him and made that Duel of Fates, that whole sequence work. And so when the right collaborators work with Lucas, I think great things obviously happen. But when you don't and you ignore them and then you go do your own thing and then you don't have someone who has a straight vision, your trilogy turns into Force Awakens and then Last Jedi and now whatever the heck Rise of Skywalker now could be. Now, don't get me wrong, it could work, right? The last one maybe kicks the landing, but I think we can all agree there's a little bit of a lack of vision in these movies. So to bring in someone like Feige, who's very good at figuring out an overall vision, who we know is always, he said it, he's been on record a lot. He is a fan of this material. He loves Star Wars. For him to come through in this now and do it is, to me, a very smart call. They need someone like that. And I think Kathleen Kennedy, it's why wouldn't they just let her go? I think she's made a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of eyeballs on her because she did fire Lord Miller. She's made it clear, she's leading the ship. This is the ship. She believed in it. She did Solo, all this stuff, and a lot of it failed. So this is a smart way where they don't have to fire her, but it's interesting that Feige would come in and sort of, how is he going to work with her and then not take the credit? These are super producers is the real thing. I mean, you're a producer too.
Yeah.
How do these two superpowers then end up working together and then share the credit? Feels like that's very big of Feige, no? Don't they almost need him more than they need her at this point? Am I crazy?
I mean, they're all under the same umbrella.
from a business, yeah. Well, they're in the same umbrella, and so they're in the same family, and you got to play with nice and with the brothers and sisters of your family. But I think that you have, when you're talking about two producers working on something, I think what you end up doing is you end up having Kathleen do what she does great, which she has worked with visionaries in the past, and produced some really great stuff, but. You get someone who is a visionary, someone who does understand story, someone who probably is a little bit more adept at taking a long-term vision of stories and making sure that these worlds are connected.
Yep.
And then you put her in what she does best, which is execution. And Kathleen, that's what she's done in the past. That's what she came from when she was working with George Lucas, when she was doing all this other stuff. She was an execution, and she did that very well. But telling a story and expanding upon a universe as big as Star Wars, that takes actual, not just execution, but it takes a storyteller. And Feige has proven that he's
a storyteller.
He's a storyteller. Mm-hmm. He's a big time, big picture. You guys can play in your sandbox and give me your style, but he's a big time storyteller.
Well, and he's also good at finding talent and working with them. The only obvious big problem was Edgar Wright, which I think was a bad move, but then they managed to pull it off with Peyton Reed, who was a fan and did something well.
Yeah.
But finding Coogler, getting him on board to make Black Panther, and I believe they were hands off on that movie. I don't believe anybody was prepared for the amount of money and success that Black Panther did. That came as a surprise to everybody, and good, and that sort of surprised and made it more special. But I think he wisely let it go and said, you know what, all right, fine. you clearly are a fan of this material. I love what you're doing. You're bringing in really respectful people. Like, he clearly knows and has learned that to sort of work with the right collaborators. Taika Waititi, I mean, come on. James Gunn, sort of, and figuring out how to get Gunn back. Like, the fact that he was able to get this talent to be involved, to be able to bring that to Star Wars, and then not be someone like Kathleen Kennedy, who clearly doesn't jive with the Lord Millers, who, made Spider-Verse the best Spider-Man movie ever. You fired them off their dream project, and then they went and won an Oscar off the best Spider-Man movie. While Marvel's making a Spider-Man movie, they topped them and did it even better. So karma stories don't get better than that. But to me, it's like that's just a sign that Kennedy's a little out of touch, and Feige clearly knows a little bit more how to deal with this. I think this is a brilliant move, but where I'm still stuck on is like how they work together. And so, I don't know how you handle that.
I mean, I think at this point you would end up being like, hey, check this out, man. Why don't you handle the logistics? I need you to take care of that. I need you to take care of all the paperwork and make sure that that everyone's paid and do their thing. I'm gonna bring on my director, and we're gonna do this thing over here. You handle that over there. I'm gonna handle this thing over here.
Yeah.
And we'll our names are on the credit. We all win. It's a win for the team. I think he's a ball player. I mean, he's got the baseball cap on. He's a ball player.
He does have
the
the
thing
cap
about
on.
him is like he's masterful at directing other people and going through this. And like you said, he's a ball player, and everything that he's done has worked in his favor to further his career. And by creating the franchise that is Marvel, as popular as it is with Disney, it just made him like the rock star that he is. And now going to Star Wars, he's like, I'm just solidifying myself in history. And for all we know, he's a mad genius. And like 10 more years from now, we're going to see like a Star Wars Marvel crossover movie.
Oh, please
And-
don't.
Oh, now you lost me.
I'll put it in there.
I'm sorry.
Read the comics is
I
there.
had an orgasm.
It's like that Disney Infinity game where I always wanted the Star Wars and Marvel characters to come together, and they stupidly didn't let that happen. Anyway, Bunda, thank you for your comment here. Bunda said, thank you for the super chat. Conspiracy theory, Feige goes to Star Wars, leaves someone else in charge of Phase 4 because it sucks, gets praised for Star Wars. Phase 4 underperforming is because he's left. Dude, I just tweeted that at the same time because I agree wholeheartedly. It's a brilliant move. Look, it's so easy to fix Star Wars right now. Like, the fans are just dying for them to something new, original, fun. And there's enough filmmakers and stories in that universe and things to do that it's not that hard to just go anywhere but up than where they currently are. You can cast an amazing talent, a director, some awesome stars. Who's not going to want to be in a friggin' Star Wars movie? If you start over, you can rebuild the excitement, and people will suddenly be like, all right, I'm into this one. You guys should check this one out. So if Feige does that, it's such a smart move for him to jump ship during Phase 4, which I've gone on record numerous times saying I think it's going to not do as well financially. It's just not. Doctor Strange 2, these movies are not going to be the numbers that Black Panther and Endgame were. There's going to be a dip down. Obviously, they're going to do okay, but for him to sort of see the writing on the wall and say, you know what, maybe I do become the base. I put my cap on, become a team player, because if I go save Star Wars with just one movie, that's all you need. That's all he needs. And then suddenly it's all on his shoulders, and then he's got more power. Like, yep, I can jump franchise to franchise. Then he's the CEO of Disney someday. He can do whatever the hell he wants. So you're right. Being a team player is probably a smarter move, to not fire the female executive who's built Lucas's legacy and been around working with Spielberg forever. Like, you don't want to disrespect Kathleen Kennedy. I get why they don't fire her. At the same time, I think she's failed, and other people would be sort of put to the fire a little harder. But you're right. And the conspiracy theory, I don't think is that far of a conspiracy theory. I think it is a legitimately smart move for him to find a little niche. He's probably got a good story as a fan. He could do the Knights of Ren or whatever cool plot line that's out there that he's like, you know what, we could do that finally.
Look at all the video games that they have for Star Wars. Like, a lot of them had some really good plots.
Knights of the Republic.
Story, yeah.
They had like was it Force Unleashed, or what was that one that was like the apprentice of Darth Vader?
Force Unleashed, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those had great storylines, and people begged for those to be done.
I think Feige, first of all, I wouldn't be surprised if Feige, after doing the one film, if he doesn't to just add to the fire, to the Feige fire, if he doesn't take a director that he's worked with in the Marvel universe and brings on Robert Downey Jr. as a Jedi, and you know what I mean, just like in this new story, if he doesn't be like, hey, remember that stuff that I did? If he doesn't bring some of that in, obviously, and brings in some fresh talent, but
imagine that, Robert Downey Jr. as a Jedi and like some cool dramatic storytelling, like directed by Ryan Coogler. Like, come on!
Yeah,
I'm
I
in.
want that now.
It's nothing on deck is anywhere near the excitement level. Game of Thrones trilogy, no thanks. Even Ryan Johnson's trilogy, there was like all this excitement, and now that with Last Jedi and now the Game of Thrones finale, all that excitement's out the window, and people are like, eh. But Kevin Feige can come in, hit the reset button, do a completely new thing, focus on it, put all his Marvel energy into this. Dude, it's like a no-brainer. Now, of course, it could still suck. He could screw it up. But I think it's such a smart move. And it makes sense now the more, and we think about it, and you're right, the team playerness, like, of course, but there's just such a weird corporate structure of CEOs, like even Iger throwing people under the bus in his book. There's such a corporate thing of like people want the credit. Like that's just how business and how money works. But if Feige's wise enough to see like, no, yes, I'm getting the credit, but sure, I'll share it. People are going to read between the lines and know, oh, things got better when Feige stepped in.
Yeah.
And that's really going to matter more than what any other sort of him demanding certain things or saying. Only if Kathleen's pushed out, that's going to make him look like a bully. So you're right. He's doing the even better, smarter producer move of making things work.
You don't want to push out Kathleen. I mean, it would look bad on Lucas. It would look bad on Disney. It would look bad on Feige.
Spielberg, everybody. Yeah.
It would look bad on if Kathleen was pushed out. Again, her working in conjunction with Feige is a better story, a better look, and probably it'd still produce a great product. But it's just one of those things that if you were to kick her out, no one would stand for that. There'd be a whole slew. That would be the story instead. That would be the story. You know, Feige replaces Kathleen.
I would say he's like a masterful tactician. That's how he is able to execute all these things. Like, if someone believes in karma or past lives, he was like a Alexander the Great or something like that. He was. If he didn't find I love theater, he would have been one of those guys.
Alexander's story didn't end very well, but we'll
well, if it did end well for him, it would have been bad for us. But anyways,
Channels was saying on commenters, Feige's producer and Dave Filoni as director. That'd be pretty amazing. That would make a lot of fans happy. And they would tell a good story because Filoni's did such a good stuff with the animated stuff. Michael Bryce asked a question. Thank you for the chat. Do you think the story being tied to previous movies hurts Star Wars? So much weight. Once they end it, people can breathe again and we can have a new story. Yes, I absolutely think we need to cut. And I think they're doing that. They've wisely realized that they have to like sort of start over. And I think Feige's seeing the opportunity now to come in and sort of be like, oh, cool. Yeah, I have this idea. I have this idea. I'm sure he's been thinking about this for years. There's no way Feige's coming in with like, well, maybe. I'm sure has an idea. He's already clearly has a talent in mind. He probably already has a director in mind. He's got it all gearing. And so, yeah, it makes total sense that then he would come in and start over. Oh, yeah. And now it could be the Jabba the Hutt movie or something for all we know. But I think there's something really strong about the idea of doing a fully new thing in that universe in a different time period.
It's refreshing.
Something new to be able to then have a franchise out of or connect to later smartly, which I'm sure he would plant those seeds knowing. I mean, what do you guys think? Any speculation before we wrap this part of the video up?
I mean, well, my only speculation is that if like I said, Rey is a great hero, but I don't think, I'm going to take that back. Rey is a good hero for this particular franchise, but not a great hero in comparison to the heroes that we wanted to have for Star Wars, because a lot of people are like, well, how the heck does she have these powers already? And there's a lot of debate about that. Hopefully The Last Skywalker fixes that, which this is my thing that I wanted to get into was the defense. I defend JJ on Force Awakens all the time because I do believe he had a vision. I do believe he was going to explain why Rey was the way she was. There are some things in The Force Awakens that upon rewatching, there's some things there that I'm like, JJ had an idea. He had a vision. I feel like there was something that was discussed at the beginning that just went that way. And this is why we're in the mess that we're in right now. I would even invite JJ to work with Feige on a project because I think those are two great visionaries that really would work well together.
JJ, do you really think? I feel like JJ is very mixed bag. It's like because I mean, this first Star Trek was a great reboot, right?
Yeah.
He brought Star Trek back, and I thought he made me cry in the first opening of the movie when Kirk's dad's dying. Mm-hmm. Beautiful movie. I think that's fantastic. And then Into Darkness, he fell through the same traps that Force Awakens did, where too much nostalgia, and did the whole thing again and bumbled it.
But was that JJ as much as it was? There was also a pressure to everyone wanted to see Khan for the second film.
Everybody. Yeah, but he should have known better.
Same though. It wasn't the same.
That's my point. Is that everybody wanted to see Khan for the second film? So I feel like JJ
Did
gets
they?
the short.
I didn't need to.
Well, I mean, it's the biggest villain that Kirk's had to face. So how do you go into into a sequel without facing your biggest villain? That's the sequel.
Well,
you start going
they're
toward
in the
against your
Kelvin
villain.
timeline. It's a whole opportunity to hit the reset button and start
It was,
over.
and again, just like with Force Awakens, he had a crazy line to walk. I mean, JJ, trust me, as far as a career is concerned, he got to go both ways. He got to go Trek and then Star Wars, and now he's apparently going into another franchise. So, but Feige is wise to bring us a new hero with a new storyline that could start a whole new series of 9 films. And bring us something that I saw in the chat. Someone said something from the Legends or something from the discarded Star Wars lore. There's a lot of characters and a lot of stuff that Feige can just mine right there. And he's really good at taking things. I mean, Infinity War that we got isn't the Infinity War that was in the comics, but he's really good at taking things like, I'm going to get a piece of this, a piece of this, piece of this. And this is our cinematic version of that. He could do that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for him to pull from the books and pull from the games. And do that.
Well, yeah, and I'm looking for him to pull from the talent of directors and talent that he has access to, and the fact that it's like Kevin Feige's doing a Star Wars movie. Okay, I'll do a Star Wars movie. He's gotten everybody. Michael Douglas. I mean, Robert Redford. Like everybody wants to be Annette Bening and Captain Marvel. Who doesn't want to do a Marvel movie? They just got Angelina Jolie. I mean, like they can literally call anybody.
He's literally got people to come back for, and like people that said, "I'm not going to do the Marvel movies ever again," and they came back. He's like, "I'm going to call your name."
Yeah.
But in all honesty, Kevin Feige, like, I would see him doing Star Wars before Star Wars, like picking a storyline that doesn't exist, where everything that everybody knows, it does it way before that, like because that was a story far, far away in a time, way in the future and whatnot. He would probably be that guy that'd be like, you know what, let's do something before everything happened, so it's completely fresh.
Do you think they'll ever do a Star Wars where it's like in the time? Not so long ago.
A little bit far away.
A little far away, but not that far away of a galaxy. King of Scotland just sent a chat in. Thank you. Have you seen the Knights of the Fallen Empire game trailer? There's your Old Republic trilogy right there. I'll tweet the link. Yeah, I mean, that's my point. There's so much old stuff that they've now made not canon games. There's so much stuff that you could even just mine that's already exists that you could repurpose or at least use as sort of the template for where you go. So, look, it's a space opera, like crazy action adventure. Like, how fun to use that formula and some of those creatures and make a new story. Like, there's opportunities there, and Feige has proven that. Feige hires good talent. He's pulled it together. People knock on Marvel, but dude, I can't think of anything commercially successful that pulled off what they did. It's mind blowing when you think about it. Yeah, it is a task and a half that they pulled it together. And I know people didn't like Endgame and rag on it, but whatever. Like, it was just they wrapped it up. They did it. They pulled it off in a way that wasn't like, it delivered what they were. Every kid was ever, what I was like, oh my God, they're all there fighting each other and doing it. And on your left, just like, they did it. And so the fact that he was able to pull that off, I think he's in a dangerous spot because I don't know how he's ever going to top that again in a Marvel. Well, no, that's my point. But if he jumps to Star Wars and does a new property, then he can. But Phase 4, look, I'm not trying to be so negative. People are like, come on, give it a shot. Of course, I'm going to watch everything in Phase 4. We all are. But Phase 4 doesn't get me excited. And it's because we came up from such a high of Endgame that it would be wise of him to like, all right, cool, I set all this up. I'll be back when Fantastic Four and X-Men are available.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to go make Star Wars.
I'm going to let the bar drop a little.
Passed, some crappy Marvel movies. Oh, now I can come back and do it again. Cool. Because the reality is you need some time to pass. Like, you can't just do Marvel movies nonstop for 20 years. Like, you need to like walk away and then come back and reinvent it, you know?
It'll do him good. So in Feige we trust?
Feige we trust. Bunda says Game of Thrones pulled it off. What pulled? No, they did not pull that trilogy off. And that's why, and to case in point, with Benioff and Weiss doing the new trilogy, people were excited until they saw that they didn't pull off the finale. Now, was that their fault?
No.
I don't think it was. Like, when you learn more about it, George R. R. Martin literally put a story in place that they like were like, all right, we're going to deliver what he promised. And knowing that they had to write to that end point, why would you slow it down? Why would you not be like, there's no way to
pull the Band-Aid.
Exactly. Like, there's no way to be.
Oh, you mean pulled it off like they pulled the Band-Aid off? Yeah, I totally agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
No, but it's like people are like, oh, they could have slowed down. No, they were like, dude, we know this ending's gonna suck. We're doing everything we can. We've delivered to a fever pace. but I want to go make Star Wars movies. I don't want to keep making Game of Thrones for the rest of my life. I miss my family. Like,
Yeah.
I could fly him to England instead of this annoying place we keep shooting at. Like, what am I doing? Like, I don't actually blame them as much as everybody else does. Like, they delivered the best they could given the material they had, and they wanted to be done with it. And
They gave us a lot of great years of great Game of Thrones, and if that's his story, and that's what JJR said, yo, that was my ending, and guess what? My books are ending the same way. They gave us what they had to give us, man.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
But the same extent to the point. Yes, there's so much they gave, and then people, I see comments in here like, "No way, Endgame was a downgrade from Infinity War." Blah 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 blah. But no, Endgame
was closure.
It was closure. That finale was fantastic. The time travel stuff was a little silly, but it was fan service. It was just like a fun way to just give some funny, silly bits and have some point that. It is what it is. It's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's not going to win the Oscar, but I think it was absolutely closure. So anyway, the fact that he was able to pull it off is what I'm commenting on. And I think for him to be able to sort of pause from Marvel, he'll still be there, he'll still be involved, but he can pretend like he's not as involved because he went to go do Star Wars. There's an amazing Hollywood narrative there where he can save Star Wars, make a hit movie. Now, if he fails on his movie, then that's a whole other story. But it almost doesn't matter because then he can just go back to Marvel and keep doing what he does. But for him to dip his toe in the Star Wars water and attempt to be its savior and bring it back to the great scale of where it could go, which, let's be honest, there's plenty of great directions Star Wars can go, and I think Favreau is proving that.
Yep.
And mind you, Favreau, Feige work tight together. I'm sure Feige has been in the loop on what Mandalorian's pulled off, but I think we're all excited and go on record. Favreau's Mandalorian feels like that's going to be fan service at its best. It's going to be a good standalone story. It's going to work as a series. It's like, Deadwood and Star Wars, like sold. Like that's the kind of stuff they need to do. So I hope that's what he's trying to envision. So exciting news. I'm just wrapping up this video because I want to keep our live stream going. Guys, tune into our live stream every Wednesday, 9 o'clock. But this broke, so I wanted to make a little standalone video while we were recording this. So thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe. And I'm going to go back to the live video. So next time, you can join us too. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
But don't leave.
Now, all my live audience, don't go anywhere because I recorded it. Isn't that amazing? I could just record that as I was going. And I think I can literally upload it while we continue to talk about this subject. Because I think this is brilliant. The more I think about it, I'm like, God damn, Kevin Feige is a freaking genius, no?
Yeah.
No, he's a masterful. Oh, that's what I'm saying. He's like tactician mastermind.
Oh, dude, you actually are able to do that like now.
People are
right now.
I'm literally uploading it as that's how this game works, fellas.
Dang.
I'm literally uploading that video as I'm streaming live to you, and my computer is allowing me. This might wreck up the stream. We'll see. I'll stop it if it does. But it's uploading pretty quickly. Anyway,
you got dual Xeons.
I have good internet. Anyway, that's crazy news. So thank you for tipping me off, Kevin, because that was wild, and that gave us something to talk about. And as we wrap up the rest of the show, I'm going to breeze through some of these other stories that I wanted to talk about quickly. Let's do speed round. Ready, guys?
Right on.
So I want to deliver something for our crowd watching still. And let's wait. I don't want to show you my upload page, but for people that don't believe me, yes, I'm literally uploading it as we speak. So this was an interesting story. I made a video about the Joker, which you guys reacted pretty well to. People are just trying to call out the Joker for being violent and encouraging violence.
Meh.
And I think it's really irritating. And so Todd Phillips finally had enough, and he did this. The words are here, but let's hear them.
Do you understand at least why people might be a little scared going into it?
I read it.
I mean,
listen, can we just listen how nervous this journalist is asking this question?
Do you understand at least why people might be a little scared going into it?
I mean, I think that, Aurora
so nervous.
is obviously a horrible situation, but even that is not something you blame on the movie. And quite frankly, if you do your own research about Aurora, that gentleman wasn't even going in as Joker. That was misreported. His hair was dyed red. He was having obviously a mental breakdown, and there's something horrifying about it. But it wasn't related to it outside of the fact that it happened at a movie theater. But this is not the thing that the movie is trying to represent. This is not the movie still takes place in a fictional world. It can have real-world implications, opinions, but it's a fictional character in a fictional world that's been around for 80 years. The one that bugs me more is a toxic white male thing when you go, oh, well, I just saw John Wick 3. He's a white male. He kills 300 people, and everybody's laughing and hooting and hollering. Why does this movie get held to different standards? It honestly doesn't make sense to me.
He's spot on, and I think that's really where this whole issue comes about. Of just like, why is it? And they literally just like almost want something to go wrong, just like and justify it. So they keep kind of going negative with this. But this story is just irritating the hell out of me because it's like movies are not responsible for the violence. Video games aren't either.
Yeah.
It's just asinine than where we're going, and I want to make sure we all stand up against this kind of nonsense. Guys, thoughts?
Come on, guys. Look, this happened in Mortal Kombat where people were afraid that kids were going to start ripping each other's heads off. I'm directly to the camera right now. Okay, I don't normally do this. Okay, I need you to go out there. If anyone that says that Joker is going to propagate violence, this is going to propagate violence. I need you to smack them. No. No. Okay, don't smack them.
No.
Tap them lightly across the shoulder.
No, don't cross the threshold of
do not cross the threshold.
Anything.
Shake your head sternly at them. Can we do that one? Shake your head sternly at them and strong finger of no.
Just do a little bit of this. Yeah. Oh wait, there it goes. Right. That's like a comic book panel.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah. So honestly, because look, we've seen real violence. You know, we know violence. Violence comes where it does. I mean, I just mentioned that earlier. Several years back, there was a gentleman who shot another gentleman for texting in a movie theater, and it was during Lone Survivor, which had nothing to do with. There's violence in movie theater that had nothing to do with a violent character. And here's a bottom line is that I can't stand. I mean, it's giving the Joker great publicity or negative publicity, but it's still publicity. But I can't stand this ignorant view that I've watched something, so now I must go out and do it. Normal people don't think that way. If someone's doing that, it's because they weren't in the right mental state to begin with to sit there and go, hey, you know what? I'm watching someone shoot or stab somebody on TV or in a movie. That sounds like a good idea. Let me go and do that. I just don't see normal functioning people do that.
There's been stories years, we're still there, and even in written literature where people are uber violent, the people that act out this stuff, they're not acting out like based on this. They're acting out because they have mental issues. Mental issues are a big concern, but the fact that people are trying to generalize it, it's because they watched this and they read this. No, it's because they legitimately have mental issues. And like when we talk about Mortal Kombat, people thought people are being violent because Mortal Kombat came out. When that came out, I didn't see no one do the Johnny Cage split and hit in the groin. No one's trying to reenact that.
If I had to pick one thing that caused me to be very physical and violent, was wrestling when I was a kid. I admit I suplexed a few people, and I may have tried to, flying elbow my sister.
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
You were more likely to be violent from watching Power Rangers than you were, and I loved that show growing up. But everybody wanted to be like, I'm the Red Ranger, I'm the Green Ranger, and they wanted to get kicked around.
And we went outside and played fight and stuff like that.
Plastic sword that was as hard as metal.
that I got violent with, but honestly, there's no way that someone's going to tell me that the Joker, who, by the way, isn't the most violent character in cinema. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not even the most violent character in cinema. He's not the most gruesome. He's not the most, maybe in this film he's more violent than ever we've seen him before, but he's not the most violent, diabolical character in cinema.
I mean, the funny thing is that, like, if just based on trailers, that from what you see more violence and, bad things happening to him, at least in the trailers. I mean, granted, when the movie comes out, we may be completely wrong. He may be the new face of Saul.
Joker's crazy.
Exactly. But like we've talked about it before, like Taxi Driver, John Wick, Rambo, RoboCop. Any one of those movies could have been. Matter of fact, those movies have way higher kill counts.
Yeah.
RoboCop still holds like what, top 10, or top 5,
yeah,
the highest kill count there is in history.
And I don't see anybody else running around in a tin suit shooting people.
Exactly, and same thing like even in overseas, like John Woo films, like was it Hitman, Contract Killer?
Hard Target?
Hard Target, that's the one I'm thinking of. That was also up there, too. That was also still one of the highest grossing, like, it was not grossing films, but death counts in film. And it's not everybody coming out there with a shades and cut off and releasing the pigeons and trying to reenact that scene.
Yeah.
No.
First of all, I don't have pigeons. I would have been like releasing parakeets. I had a parakeet. That's about it. Yo, I just see someone in the chat that just said something about they learned how to spin kick from Choose Your Own Adventure books. First of all, I love Choose Your Own Adventure books, and the fact that you learn how to spin kick from one, that's pretty amazing. Yeah,
book.
that's like, yeah, kudos.
Bunda just asked, everyone has access to a gun. That's the problem. Yeah, that's part of the problem. I mean, there's also mental illness, mental awareness.
But over in Europe, people were stabbing each other. There were stabbings in subways because someone decided to go into the middle of a crowded subway and start stabbing. Did he come out of a film or something like that? My point is that violence is out there. People are going to do violent and stupid things, and we have to be aware of it. And it's sad and it's horrible, and that is true. But to blame it on a character or a film and make it the sole purpose for why someone did something, that is just...
People tried blaming it on comics too. Before there was the video games, it was comics. Before that, there was like a certain type of literature. So that's always been the case. People try to use a certain media as an excuse when it's not.
I will admit, though, there are a few people that maybe have ticked me off from time to time, and I may have thought of giving them the "This is Sparta" kick into moving traffic. But like, no, this is Sparta, and like, what? We're in Tampa, Florida. I don't understand what you're talking about.
This is Tampa.
This is Tampa.
You know, maybe, but I haven't actually
Florida.
executed
you can pull
it.
that off here.
Yeah, you could technically do that.
I did that in my United 300 spoof. This is Cleveland. Was it Cleveland? I even forget now. Anyway, but yes. All right, I want to jump into another topic because this is obviously a touchy area, but I think we've handled it well.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of ridiculous that this idea that they're trying to encourage violence. It's anything can happen. You get hit by a car tomorrow. Like, what are we talking about? We can't stop art and freedom. We can't walk around so nervous that we now tell movies that they can't make violent movies. It's just asinine. But next up, this was an interesting story. I just want to get a quick read on you guys. Steve Jobs apparently told Iron Man 2, Steve Jobs told Bob Iger that Iron Man 2 sucked. Good for him. In Bob Iger's book, which is the new one we were talking about where he ragged on George Lucas, when Iron Man 2 came out, Steve Jobs took his son to see it and called me the next day. I took Reed to see Iron Man 2 last night, and he said it sucked. So it's good to see that Steve Jobs had good good reaction. But then he said this more interesting thing that I just liked. It was interesting. It's kind of mean, but also interesting and gives you a insight on sort of Steve Jobs, who I do think was a genius at sort of what he did. In 2009, after our very successful acquisition of Pixar, we were interested in acquiring Marvel. So I met with Steve and walked him through the business. He claimed to have never read a comic book in his life. I hate them more than I hate video games, he told me. That's sad. So I brought in an encyclopedia of Marvel characters with me to explain the universe to him and show him what we would be buying. I would love to see Bob Iger explaining Marvel. Can you imagine? Is that mean of me to assume? Does he really understand? Like, this is Moon Knight. What's he going to do? Or is it really going to be like, this is Spider-Man. He has webs. Anyway, so he spent about 10 seconds looking at the book, then pushed it aside, and he said, "Is this one important to you? Do you really want it? Is it another Pixar?" And I don't know. I like this idea. One, it was interesting. He didn't read comics and he hated Iron Man 2, but it's interesting because it's true. Like, why are you asking this advice? Is this something you believe in? Then you should do it.
Yeah.
Sort of like, that's life advice that I think he was spot on giving.
That sounds more like Steve Jobs. I mean, because he believed in certain things and he went after it. And when he built Pixar, by the way, with George Lucas and them, I mean, they were all together. You know, he believed in it and he went after it. And he said, this is what the future is going to hold. And this is when he talked about iPods and iPads, you know. So I would see one CEO telling another CEO, dude, if you like it that much and you think other people are like you.
Yeah, you came to me to talk about it. That must mean you like it.
Yeah.
Go. Why are you asking me? Go do your dumb thing. Let me go work on my movie with my computers. I don't want to read your dumb comic books.
But I would love to have had Steve Jobs just, you know, be like, hey, man, you know what? If that's you, do you, boo-boo.
But anyway, good advice for all. All right, this was the next. I got to bash on comic book movie a little bit too. Thor, Love and Thunder. Natalie Portman talks MCU return and why she wasn't in Ragnarok. You know the answer. Adon, what do you think this is? Do you think this is like some salty drama? Do you think she's throwing some like shade at them? What do you think?
As to why she wasn't in
Ragnarok?
Ragnarok?
Or do you think she's like trying to play it safe? Well,
wasn't there a rumor that like she, after like Dark World, she's like never again, or like...
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Do you think there's some drama behind this and she's just playing it safe? Or do you think she's going to admit to the drama? Where do you think this is going to go?
I want to say she was kind of playing it safe, but low-key throwing some shade.
Okay, well, guess what? It's neither. She
damn.
says, obviously I wasn't written into it because of where it took place. It wasn't really on Earth, and my character is on Earth. F you, comic book movie. That is the dumbest answer ever. I wanted some shade. I wanted some saltiness, and this is what you give me? Screw you. Look, that is clickbait, right? I mean, they technically answer the question. So is it? But the answer is completely underwhelming, and well, yeah, because it's where it took place in space. That's why I'm.
Well, no, didn't they?
So we solved that mystery.
Wait, didn't they say in Thor Ragnarok that they broken up?
Yeah, well, they did that in Dark. Oh no, you're right. No, that was in Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
They're together.
That's when Tony Stark and him were having that. Well, then it was the contest of like, oh, my girlfriend's better.
That's true.
And then it was
show up again.
He's like, I didn't break up with her. We mutually broke up. We mutually dumped each other.
Yeah, that's what he was telling. He was talking that to Loki.
Yeah.
It was, and the whole statement was like, it took place off world. Not true. The beginning of Ragnarok, they were literally in New York.
Yeah.
And they visited their dad.
Yeah.
And then she talks about why apparently they came to me with the idea and said, we have this idea that you could be in the storyline. That was a storyline in some of the comics where Jane becomes Lady Thor. And I was like, well, this is very exciting. She loves Tessa and Chris so much. It's exciting to work with. This is the safest Hollywood answer you could ever get.
Yeah,
Dude,
she was very.
If my dad just died, I'm visiting my girl and I'll be like, yo, I need to cry on your shoulder.
So anyway, I just wanted to bash comic book movie because that was such a lame thing. Boom. But want to see something? Every episode I'm talking about something I love. You want to see what I love this week? The DailyBugle.net just launched, guys, and J Jonah Jameson's on there with new videos.
Oh, these are going to be like short videos they're going to do? Oh.
How brilliant is this?
J Jonah Jameson here. Spider-Man, a psychopath wielding powers he has no right to possess. Trying to pass himself off as a hero. Well, let me tell you something, kid. You're no hero. Mysterio. That's a hero. You are a criminal. A miscreant. A masked marauder. A menace.
Oh my God. Now, this was a bummer just because it's literally,
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's my favorite thing is watching, what's his name? What's his freaking name? The actor. Come on. Why are we all looking? Sounds so stupid.
Because
Whiplash.
We are now stuck with, he is J. Jonah.
Oh, God, what's his name?
I'm drawing a blank. Just because you made me draw a blank.
Sam Rockwell?
No. Somebody help me. They're on a delay. Come on.
J. Jonah.
I had too much liquor.
Jonah,
no, he's not J. Jonah Jameson. That's the character.
That's what we're all stuck.
It's not. Who was the other character that was in Whiplash? Who's the other guy? Oh my God, I'm old.
I've had too many of these.
I know the alcohol does not help the memory. J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
Yes, thank you, John, saving my ass. I want to watch J.K. Simmons as a YouTuber so bad. Can you imagine if he did this and just called out like just comic book news, and he was there once a week, and they paid him $1 million. Just like, we just want to grab you answer green screen once a month. All right, let's react to Kevin Feige doing Star Wars. Bull, like, oh my God, I would just love it.
Yeah,
I would love this for like Disney Plus or that. Like you're right, for him doing like news for Disney for the comic book franchise. This will be great.
But think about this. This is a good move on Sony.
Yeah, well, this is clearly an outtake from the movie that they did. That they didn't are doing for the DVD
Sony
release.
Took back Spider-Man.
This is clearly like his extra footage from that scene at the end.
Still,
but I don't believe anyone was wise enough to like. All right, while you're here, JK, just can you read these 2 scripts? I don't believe anyone was that smart. They should have.
Yeah.
And they would have had like 4 different little pieces. But someone needs to get him back when he's back in the movie or whatever. Someone needs to like set him up and do this as an ongoing thing. And I wish he would just do it, collect the ad revenue. He'd probably do as well as Jack Black on YouTube. But yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun, and I'm sure it'll amount to nothing because they won't be able to afford him to do this often. But the idea is
really,
pretty
honestly,
brilliant.
even if you pay, I'm getting real Hollywood technical here. Even if you paid full SAG rate plus give him shares in ad revenue, you could pay him for 1 day, 2 days, gang tape a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And it could be stuff that's going
Great
on in
minds.
the universe. Boom.
And then
Dude, I would be
slapping the clips.
I wish JK's reps and everyone would get it. Like he would make bank. I think this would become like a totally huge.
He was doing commercials,
YouTuber.
so they can. There's got to be a budget for that.
But yeah, to sell DVDs and amp up the character and make it a sort of an ongoing sort of him responding as Alex Jones, get some characters
Captain
in there.
America gone.
But does he know the Marvel world enough to like go off and improvise like that? I don't know.
No, but come on, get him a writer's room, you'd be fine.
Starts quoting like Batman and stuff.
Oh man, but I would watch the hell out of that. Am I alone? J.K. Rowling. No, it's J.K. Simmons. I love it. It's just this was such a brilliant sort of thing, and I love that because I was going to do a video about this when the DVD came out to sort of launch this, or I guess it's coming out now. But then it wasn't. The site wasn't working. So it's nice to see that they finally launched it and have some options. And then they did this weird spider monkey trailer that they're clearly using.
Hold on, what's the side article say real quick? With my wife, what?
Andrew Wilson? Oh no.
I mean, it's crazy. I was there
My
and
wife
then it wasn't.
disappeared. Oh, okay.
And then there's nothing. This
Like
is
a tweet?
really. What was the question? They're just literally filling up space,
Okay.
which is a bummer.
Which, no, honestly, connect that to a Twitter feed and you'll be surprised. What, you know what I
Where'd
mean?
it go? I lost
I
it.
think it closed.
Anyway, you get the idea. It was
Yeah.
cool because they had other things there. But that's what I love this week. That's how we end the show. Thank you. I love you guys as well for watching and sticking to it. And I love these two. Thank you so much. Go subscribe to Nerd Tots. Let's put it up there so people can see. Nerd Tots has what? How many now? 20 subscribers?
Like 26 last
Woo
time I checked.
Oh, dang.
This is a new record.
I love this when I
Moving
go
up.
to my YouTube page, and there it is. Your current live. Oh, that's because I thought that was
you're still logged
promoting
into
to
yours?
everyone, but it wasn't. But if we go to Nerd Tots, gonna send some Don some love. People go. There it is.
We went up by one.
I'm gonna subscribe. You just got another 28. How quick does it work?
It should show pretty quick.
Yay!
It's a new record.
I don't know why I wasn't subscribed. I'm a bad friend.
Yeah.
He does D&D, so
I know
go,
we talked
subscribe.
about it,
Even
but-
if you don't watch it, just go subscribe. Let it so he feels good. And then Damien, anything you want to
for
plug,
the self-esteem.
Damien?
Well, you know, Mr. Creative.
You got a
Filmmaker-
movie coming out. Are we allowed to talk about it yet?
Well, you know, you can see the previous movie, which is Bernie the Dolphin 1, which was released by Lionsgate. It's a kids movie, rated, G. It's a great film. And has Kevin Sorbo. I actually got to meet Hercules, which is awesome.
Can we plug your
Really?
Nightmare on
That
Elm Street
Kevin
one?
Yeah, Nightmare. It's Halloween time, so if you want to go see Nightmare Return to Elm Street,
Guys,
Twin Life Zone.
People don't
is the
realize
channel.
Damien's legit. Like, he made this Return to Elm Street short. Go watch it afterwards.
I'll check it out.
It's sick. And it's a really great sort of short film trailer for a movie that doesn't exist, but I want to see.
I produced and directed that. I produced
but it's
it,
no
and
joke.
it was directed by my friend Dominic Smith. Helped write it to some extent, but yeah, I was mostly the producer on that. And we went out there and we got all this together, and we got a bunch of people to do a fan film for Nightmare on a trailer for a film that we would have loved to create. But I'll tell you what was interesting about this is that we actually got Dom actually managed to get some people that were in the Nightmare franchise, and they talked about it and tweeted about it and talked about how they liked this trailer. And
8.7 million views.
Yeah, Sci-Fi Wire rated it the #1 fan film on the internet. So yeah,
Dude,
we're
props.
pretty proud. We're pretty proud. Yeah.
Anyway, I've been lucky enough he's working on another one, so get excited. But I know we're not allowed to talk about it.
Not yet.
We'll get there. But anyway, I want people to get excited and know who you are when you're on here. He's legit, and Nerd Tots is legit too. Adon, I love Nerd Tots too. The production value is a little less, but I don't want you to feel less impressive.
Dude, I want to LARP with you one day. Like,
I know I gotta do D&D.
I'll
Can we do a
LARP.
live stream one of these nights? We'll just do a D&D game.
Yeah, I'm totally
I'm
will-
down.
I will do a
Would you
short
guys
one.
watch that? All right. Don't forget to tickle that like button on your way out. Thank you, channels. Yes, and as we now, I just got super chatted. We have to end apparently every episode with my new outro. I can't. Hold on.
The new favorite.
My new outro. I guess I was gonna try it one day, like try and apologize to this man, but he'll never allow me now because I'd rather be able to play this clip over and over again than be friends again with John Campea. Does that mean?
I mean, I wonder how many people would now just go to his channel just because of how many times we played this.
Is it mean of me that I would rather have the opportunity to play this? I don't know. What just happened? Oh wait, it didn't work.
You're giving their.
How do I
Nerd
get
Tots.
back
What's going on?
into?
Nerd Tots, one
What
word.
is this?
Yeah.
Hold on. Why did this? No, go back to the way it was. Escape. How do I minimize in Windows?
What are you trying to do?
Exit full screen.
F5.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry, I don't know PC. All right, here we go. We got to end right here with my favorite John Campea clip. It'll never get better than this. John Campea doing his impression of Ron Burgundy.
All right, Smelly Negro. I love that name. Which hockey movie chant "I swallow knickers come"? No idea.
There it is for you. You super chat it, you get it, Bunda. Thank you so much for that. He paid for it, John. John, he super chatted
All
me.
right, Smelly
Oh, wait,
Negro.
it's
I love
playing
that
again for
name.
some accident.
Which hockey movie chant
Oh, I
"I
can't
swallow
stop it
knickers
this time.
come"? No idea.
No, I don't. Anyway, Bunda, there you go. Always Campea video. Guy, the guy with braids hasn't seen it. Damien, yes, you have. Haven't you? He watches the show.
No, that's the first time I've seen the
do
show,
you
but I haven't
see-
seen.
Can we talk about why I find this so brilliant? Look how he just spelled it out. He totally Ron Burgundied him, so he'll read anything. He did the word smelly and then the word like knee, my kneecap, and then grow, and then he put, of course he just read it out loud, and then that didn't tip him off. You'd think after saying that out loud,
and he
would
goes
be
like, I love that name.
Whoa! Instead of being tipped off, he goes, I love the name. So he doubles down, and then which hockey movie chant? Like, what a weird setup. Which hockey movie chant? Ice, the word ice, and then the word wallow. And then,
Knickers.
like, your pants, yep.
Knickers,
And then come. And then it looks so phonetically like, well, that can't be what it actually is. And then he reads it and realizes, no, why don't? It's beautiful.
I will say it is a brilliant execution.
Yes.
I'm not gonna.
If you're gonna troll somebody, that is how you do it.
Be smart.
When you're gonna go troll Mundane Matt Jarbo, that's how you got to do it. I think, Matt, you would agree if you're still there. All right, well, there you go. Bunda just donated again just to laugh. He literally pays.
We're laughing with you,
He pays
Matt.
like $4 to me every week so I can publicly do that and laugh. And if that gives Bunda some pleasure, I will continue to deliver that for you because I am such a fan of him.
I like
your
your sense of humor, dude.
But he is a very nice fan, good friend. Thank you for that. I'm glad I can make you laugh tonight. There you go. And please play it every week. It's literally the new thing. I want Campia to come on and play it with me. That's my dream. I just think if I get the point, that would be amazing.
Sometimes you gotta own
you
things.
gotta own it. If I did that, I would have to laugh. You can't just deny it. All right, I need an AC in here because it's hot and it's Florida. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you so much. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Smelly knee.
No, stop. Thank you so much for everybody and my buddies Damien, Adon. Go look them up on Twitter. I'll have the links, and I'm gonna go upload that Star Wars video.
All right.
Shut up. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
He was buried in an avalanche of online public shame, but the lawyers couldn't hold him anymore. While the legal system grinds, all the things upon his mind must be spoken of like did he love the ending of Infinity.